Brian, tell us about the vice president's visit. Mike Pence hitting the campaign trail with Governor Kemp today. What happened? Where'd they go? What'd they do?
Yeah, it was interesting. You know, we're down to the wire now. 1 week out, you mentioned it, and you can certainly feel the energy in some of these big states where the elections are close, like where we are in Georgia. Vice President Mike Pence was with Governor Brian Kemp. They were all over the state making various campaign stops in places like Cumming, Georgia, and Gainesville, Georgia. We followed the bus around. Of course, they also stopped shaking hands with big money donors, fundraising dinners, things like that. But the vice president really trying to get out front, trying to drive Republican voters to the polls in this now final week.
Size. What was it like? Because when you bring out a big gun like the former vice president, I would think that there are a lot of people that would turn out for that.
Yeah, you know, they were pretty crowded, the different stops. Again, it was interesting following the bus because they make the unscheduled stops where they shake hands at big businesses where you can obviously tell those are big donors. But every time Vice President Pence spoke, he talked about what he called the great American comeback. That was sort of his tagline throughout the day. He says he is really optimistic about a red wave come Tuesday. He was here supporting Kemp, the governor. He was asked about Herschel Walker. He said he supports the whole ticket. Gets a little dicey there because he hasn't done any specific campaigning for Herschel Walker.
So, Brian, it is no secret that Donald Trump has, expressed, some dislike for both Mike Pence and Brian Kemp. So did they bring up his name at all? Like, how did they incorporate Donald Trump into their stump, if at all?
Yeah, that was sort of the elephant in the room all day long because a lot of the people at these events have been Trump supporters in the past, yet there is this drama and this baggage between Trump and Kemp and Pence, which everybody seems to know about. They didn't talk about it specifically. What's interesting, though, is that Kemp is doing very, very well right now, at least according to most of the polls here in Georgia, about a 5% lead over Stacey Abrams, despite his falling out with Trump, which is interesting for political analysts. Today, the former vice president, Mike Pence, he was asked about this. He was asked if Kemp's strategy could be a winning strategy in a post-Trump political era. This is the way the vice president responded.
Well, I'm completely focused on 2022, and I think we'll let the future take care of itself. But look, there is no question that Governor Brian Kemp, by focusing on the values of the people of Georgia, the priorities, the policies that will make Georgia more secure and more prosperous, has struck a deep chord with the people of this state.
So he sort of dodged the question there a little bit, saying he was focused on 2022. But obviously, so much of what's happening now with the midterms is going to tie into the presidential race come 2024.
So he looked very presidential there, even though he had, Kemp, on his lapel there. But does it feel as though he's really there to back the Republican candidates, or does it feel like he was there to shore up the governor's support for a potential run in 2024?
Yeah, I got the sense that he was really here to back Governor Kemp. They appear to be longtime, genuine friends, family friends for a long time. They go way back. He mentioned how he supported Kemp in the primary the first time ever since the very beginning. So I got the sense that he was here genuinely to show support. Again, it's interesting, though, when you look at the big picture of all of this, when you bring Trump into play, how they share this commonality that they've got trauma with Trump. And then when you bring in Herschel Walker here, he's behind in his race right now, unlike Kemp, but you don't see Pence out there campaigning and walking along with Herschel Walker. So there's all these sort of interesting little backstories happening within the bigger picture right now here in Georgia.
I mean, I love this, right? This last week, the dynamics are so fever pitch that anything can happen, So it's exciting to be out there on the trail, especially when, all the big celebrities in politics come out. Brian Entin, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.